Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and a quick happy Thanksgiving to all Canadians. Hope you enjoy your long weekend, your turkey, your football, and of course, your alcohol. That being said, this is the next piece of One Piece, chapter 1062 of One Piece. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to lie. I know a lot of people are excited. I know a lot of people are in the camp that Luffy, Usopp, and Chopper get into whenever Frankie pulls up some crazy Gundam mecha crap and they go all starry-eyed and wow, this is amazing. Not so much me. It sort of reminded me a little bit of Punk Hazard here. I didn't really care about what Caesar was doing. Okay, making artificial devil fruits, and the kids are giant. Yeah. But all the details surrounding it stuff, I was like, okay, I understand it, and it's not bad, but it's just like, all right. Sure. So this chapter for me, honestly, the cover page was the most exciting part for me. Not going to lie, because the cover page, for those of you who don't know, is implying a little bit of a man known as Kuzan is in Big Mom's territory. Why? Why is Kuzan in Big Mom's territory by the looks of it? That's a little interesting there, right? At least that's my theory, that Aokiji is on the move in Big Mom's territory as well. I mean, it's time. Look at what Blackbeard was doing. He went after, with only a handful of his Titanic captains, he went after Amazon Lily, right? He didn't go after Mihawk because he's not that fucking stupid. He's stupid, but he's not that stupid. But he didn't go after Mihawk or anything. But Amazon Lily, with Big Mom out of the picture now, it's like, and she's been away from Totland, and she took some of the heavy hitters with her. So I'm just saying, like, this is the time the Titanic captains are probably strategically attacking in groups of 2 or 3, and they're probably attacking areas like this. So Kuzan is out here on potentially Blackbeard's orders, I'm going to guess. But it's definitely the thing that leads the most implication is the cover page this week, because the chapter itself is perfectly fine. We jump away to a couple of different things, and there's some fun moments and stuff. But at the end of the day, we all knew that Vegapunk was, I said an android or Terminator I mean, I got it. But so many people called it, I don't even feel like it's a goddamn W. Because is it really a W? Is it really a W when everyone in the One Piece community said, that's not Vegapunk, that's a doll, it's a devil fruit, it's an android, it's a robot, it's a mecha, it's a goddamn what have you. I heard it's Vegapunk's daughter and stuff too. But no one, I didn't see a single person for 2 weeks think that was actually the Dr. Vegapunk. Not a single person. So maybe they're out there, I'm sure they are. But, so the big reveal here in this chapter about the fact that there's 6 of them and they work, that was actually the more heavy theory I saw, was that they were like, oh, well, number 2, how many other Vegapunk women are there? How many robots does he have working for them? And it's confirmed here that there's 6, potentially. There's 6. So we do get that information and stuff. And once again, I don't mind that information, but my excitement, and I think the community might have forgotten, everyone's just so excited maybe to be done with Wano, to be starting a new arc or something. But the exciting thing about meeting Vegapunk after all this time is for burning questions that we have wanted the answers to for years as One Piece fans, and we've yet to get any of that info yet. Not saying to rush it, I'm a patient man, but everyone's going gaga over these last 2 chapters because Vegapunk's involved. Yeah, but Vegapunk hasn't told us anything yet. Nothing new about the Will of D, nothing about Devil Fruit lore, nothing about the Void Sentry, nothing about the world government, nothing about Sword, nothing about Kuma, nothing about anything that we, prior to these last 2 chapters, wanted to see Vegapunk for, right? So, once again, not a bad chapter, but this is not, I'm patiently waiting. This is a setup chapter as far as I'm concerned. Now, I do like the fact that halfway into this, and this is going to sort of tick off some people, but she has this Lilith, I guess is what she's called, Vegapunk number 2, is Punk number 2 here, has weaponized sea beasts, right? And we see them all pop out of the water and stuff, and it appears that they are all actual sea beasts, sea kings or what have you. This is where I'm confused. Are sea beasts, is this a translation thing? Are these supposed to be sea kings that have been weaponized and modified? I don't believe they are. And I believe they are supposed to be sea beasts because, look, we got giraffes, we got deer, we got bears, we got lions, we got bison, we got everything. I think there was a pug back there at some point. And so I'm thinking that these are sea beasts, not sea kings, of course, but weaponized as sea kings. Regardless of that, I was sort of interested the fact that Oda took away Chopper out of this scene, because even if sea beasts are, or even if they're violent, even if they're like, oh my god, they're trying to kill us, trying to destroy the boat, they're trying to do this, trying to do that, they're still, there's still animals that have been fucked with by science for their own, and weaponized for their own purposes. And I feel like Chopper, of all people on the crew, might take a little bit of umbrage with the idea of weaponizing animals that were just minding their own fucking business. Right? And I'm not using this as a reason to say, oh, we got to stop doing the animal testing, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying any of that right here. I'm not using this as an excuse to go on a, 15-minute tirade. Join this group. None of that. I'm just saying that personally, I'm not a big fan of this scientist, because I saw a lot of people going, oh, Vegapunk's clearly not like the other mad scientist, probably a good person, not like just where we got this information, I don't know, but everyone thinks that he's a very, not going the direction of Caesar Clown, or Judge, or Queen, and has some ethics to his science, and this double-page spread is proving to me, I don't know where we got that information. People think, oh, well, Kuma willingly submitted. Still shouldn't have fucking weaponized a human goddamn being. But, so I don't know where we got the idea that he was a scientist with a moral compass. But this scene right here tells me that he's absolutely not. And even if you argue, oh, well, this is punk number 2 Lilith who did it, technically, as we find out, if he can't even control his own goddamn robot sentient versions of himself because there's not enough time in the day, then I don't know. So for me personally, I was like, I don't like this. I don't like the fact that he's got a whole weaponized version of animals at his beck and call, shock collars and all, by the looks of it. You know what I mean? I'm just not a fan. I'm like, yeah, this guy's not a good person. I never assumed he was. I assumed he was more of a neutral force, but this is leading me more into the fact that I'm not going to like Vegapunk as a person very much, am I? That's just me, but what do you guys think? Moving on to that, this also has, and the reason I say this is that this has a bit of a consequence because of the danger that Zoro poses. And I love it. Specifically Zoro, later Robin's tacked onto it, but I do like the idea that the Vegapunk that she's talking to or whatever is basically saying, hey, don't mess with them. They're an Emperor's crew. You do realize that you aren't here to capture them. I want to talk to them. Sure, they're the Straw Hat crew and I want to talk to them. I'm like, yes, of course we do. We need our lore dump from Vegapunk, regardless whether he's a good person or not. I still want my lore dump from him, right? But I love the fact that we see all the people, being doing their own character things. Zoro's silent, but looking on and seeing the animals sort of suffering, and he's got the eye, and I know it's not necessarily supposed to look like this, but I think like specifically the lion and the bear seemingly are like huff, like almost like they're in pain, and like it looks dorky on like the giraffe and stuff like that, but I feel like these animals are weaponized and suffering in a bit, and I feel like that's why Zoro's sort of at first that was my initial reaction, like he doesn't like this any more than I do. He's like, this is the same shit we dealt with Queen and everyone, like, and this is the same shit as Caesar Clown. I'm not having this. And I almost felt like he was I'm gonna destroy all the fucking machinery you put on these fucking poor beasts, and I'm gonna let them go after you. They ain't gonna come after us. Like, I felt like that moment was coming with Zoro, because he could tell everyone else is excited. Usopp's scared, Frankie's excited, only Rob and Nami's just like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? We're surrounded. Zoro and Robin are the ones calculating this shit, right? And here's the deal that I like, is that they say, don't underestimate Zoro. You do realize he, not only, they state all his facts, like that's Pirate Hunter Zoro, first mate of the crew, 1.1 billion berry bounty, all this stuff. But have you noticed how calm he is? And do you realize you're within his range right now? He'll kill you before you can do shit right now. And I'm like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. And also says, the same goes for the Devil Child over there. Nico Robin is also, you're probably within her range too. And not that, sort of like, even if you were to get past Zoro, Robin is not joking around either, and she's ready to kick your ass too. And she probably can. So stand the fuck down, right? So I really like that, because at first people were saying like, oh, the Straw Hats got beaten by a mechanical shark, some Emperor's crew, blah, 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 you know, and now we're saying like, oh, it doesn't matter how many of these guys got. Vegapunk's going, no, Zoro will cut them all down. You guys don't stand a chance. Stand the hell down. If he wants to, we're all dead. So I like that. That's propping up my boy Zoro. And I do like how hilariously, not the voice of reason who told Lilith all this, but she concludes that Sanji, Frankie, Usopp, they're all acting like morons as a ruse. Sort of like how Denjiro praised Kinemon for his mastermind plans and strategies. And I'm just like, yeah, no. Vegapunk is actually legit worried about Zoro and Robin. The other ones are just being idiots, you know? Like, you know, I'm sorry to say, like, I like Frankie, I like Sanji, I like, you know, Nami and all that stuff, but they are not putting on anything. They are not acting or rusing whatsoever. Sanji's got his love sickness. Frankie's just excited to see anything with metal attached to it. Usopp's scared shitless because he's Usopp. Nami's scared shitless because she's Nami. And Brooks just yo about everything. So, anyways, but yeah, so they agree that they have to go to Zoro says like, there's something you want from us, you know, we're gonna play nice, right? And says, you know what, bring them here and stuff. So we see on the Dendemushi, which by the way looks like the back of the Great Saiyaman helmet. Just gonna say that. The Punk 01, Dr. Vegapunk Shaka, the Logic one, I guess. So it's not actually Dr. Vegapunk, or maybe the notes made it sort of like we're not sure yet if there's 7 of them, you know, like Vegapunk and 6 robots, or the 6th one, the first one is Vegapunk and there's 5 more, you know, like a Dr. Gero sort of thing. Was an android, isn't actually, like, is still the one who invented the androids, but is also an android himself, count among the number. We don't know yet for sure. But it looks like the Great Saiyaman helmet. Anybody else get that? Then anyway, we jump back to Luffy, Bonnie, you know, Jinbei, and Chopper. The one thing to really take away from this is the fact that Jewelry Bonnie is confirmed. A lot of people said it was the mother. Definitely in connection to Kuma, we all assumed. I never assumed is the princess, is the daughter. Kuma had a daughter, and it is Jewelry Bonnie. Because of the aging fruit, there was no way to actually know this. But apparently Jewelry Bonnie is actually Kuma's daughter. This puts her roughly at how we see her, how we perceive her normally, you know, looking to be at about her 20s, you know, got the, you know, going on. Generally speaking, that's probably her actual legitimate age. If she's Kuma's daughter, she probably is in her teens, 20s. Christ knows when Kuma had a daughter, though. Could have, I mean, you know, she could be in her late 30s, or she could be as early, right before surgery could have had her, I guess, but I don't think that's the case, you know. I don't think Jewelry Bonnie's actually only 3 or 4, so either way, that's confirmed, and that's good information to have. Then we actually they end up dropping into the, seemingly the world of Vegapunk and stuff, and it sort of reminded me a little bit of, it's like Spaceland, you know, it's similar. If Totland was for candy lovers, this is for space lovers, right? Same idea, loaded with everything for a candy lover. It's like, wow, where do I start? There's Kit Kats and Snickers and cotton candy, oh my. And this time it's like, oh look, there's spaceships and tilt-a-whirls and dragons. Why is there a dragon in space? Oh my, you know, sort of idea. And that seems to be the case. Apparently they're also all holograms. I don't get the once again, this is Vegapunk's lab. He's probably just tinkering with whatever the hell he wants. So they all get sort of fooled because Jewelry Bonnie, of course, is like Luffy, has the appetite of a god. So that's, sort of the comedies here. We're starting to learn a little bit about Egghead Island, where they're from, like what's going on here, and they're disappointed with the food and everything like that. We see him sort of go into a semi-gear fifth. He starts to go into like gear fifth because he's so pissed off that someone would make holographic giant food and he can't eat it. Then, though, however, we meet another one of the Vegapunks who looks like, once again, this is what was starting to remind me of Punk Hazard. It's like, we got the dorky machines, the big vats, the weapons everywhere, the space. It was reminding me a lot of Caesar Clown's area sort of idea and Punk Hazard in some regard. And then we walk in, and there's, of course, a giant 5-year-old. And I'm like, okay, and a giant 5-year-old. Once again, Punk Hazard again. And then I forget which one this one's called, what punk it is, but anyways, doesn't really matter. It's just another one of the Vegapunk things. Then all of a sudden we get the microwave from like that space movie, and basically the microwave from Spy Kids pretty much is Vegapunk invented some Spy Kids technology. If you guys haven't seen the original Spy Kids movie, you put in a pack of oatmeal, in a brown bag, and boom, you have McDonald's quarter pounder meal with cheese. And it's like, okay, how did that happen? But technology's a wonderful thing, right? So they're loving it, and they're clicking all the buttons, and they're getting all the random food, like just instant KFC, instant turkey dinner, instant, ramen, for days, instant chocolate cake. Then they're just getting all the stuff. They're getting instant barbecue, they're getting instant this, they're getting instant that, and they're just eating for days. Of course, Jewelry Bonnie, Chopper, and Luffy are just having a time of it, right? Then we learned something that I only learned this. I forget who was mentioning this, but I saw it by a couple of people. I first saw it on Discord. I forget who it was, but someone also on Reddit mentioned that these gloves, these photonic gloves that make it possible to physically interact with light. That's how this specific Vegapunk is able to punch the hologram that Luffy went right through, because it can interact with light. And what is a hologram but light projection? It was mentioned that these are clearly, because there's been Kizaru's fruit is used in a lot of fucking Vegapunk's research. Have we noticed that yet? But this must be some type of potential counter to Kizaru, because if it can hit light, you wouldn't need hockey. It's sort of like the natural attack, so like water to crocodile. Here we have gloves invented by Vegapunk that can naturally hit light. So if you wore a set of these, you potentially wouldn't need hockey to beat up on Kizaru, regardless of his devil fruit. That is I saw a few people stated on Reddit. I forget who stated it on Discord. My apologies. But I did see that mentioned. And I'm not saying one way or the other, but it does lean towards that idea. I will give you that. I'm not saying for sure that that's how it would be, because anybody who would be able to catch and hit Kizaru in the first place probably knows some decent hockey. So is it relevant? Maybe. Sort of like, once again, hockey up water fist on Crocodile, going to hurt a lot more if you could do such a thing. But yeah, either way, everyone's enjoying themselves in this lab and all that stuff. The other Vegapunk still says, like, I'm Vegapunk, no, I'm Vegapunk, yada yada yada. The end part of the chapter does explain the punks, but also doesn't fully say. It splits off for us to believe that there is an actual Dr. Vegapunk, probably very old, and then there are 6 robots total. So we haven't actually heard from the Dr. Vegapunk as of yet. We do get this information, and we do see one of the pacifistas in the background, seemingly having the star. So this is one of the seraphims. This is the Kuma seraphim. Got the star, the wings, the modded, that type of idea, right? So supposedly, supposed to take this child, the Kuma child, back to Egghead Island, and then, without destroying anything or removing anything, destroy every last Vegapunk. Now, once again, the notes state this as we're going to kill Vegapunk himself, not just his punk robots or whatever, we're going to kill all of them. So CP0 is back, and a lot of people are going to be very excited for this, of course, because you got Stussy, you got Kaku, and you got Rob Lucci. Rob Lucci was considered one of the top contenders for best fights in the series, with Luffy, of course, in one of the best arcs, easily stated, and a lot of people liked Rob Lucci as a villain, right? I don't mind Rob Lucci. I think he's a pretty good villain. Am I excited to see him back? Sure, but in a direct confrontation without a million things going on, right? With distractions and all that stuff. Rob Lucci has not powered up to the point that he can take on any of the top contenders of the Straw Hat crew. Like, realistically, all out, they can all defeat him. I am confident in saying that not a single member of CP0, Stussy, Kaku, or Rob Lucci can take on Gear 5th Luffy. They cannot take on Conqueror's Haki Zoro. I don't even think that they could... they can fight them. But I think it's mid-diff to low-diff for those two, and mid to high-diff for Jinbei and Sanji. So, I just don't really see it. Actually, what would be nice is if Robin got to fight against Rob Lucci. For some payback. Be a little poetic there. But right now the Straw Hats, of course, are divided up. I don't know how Otis is going to do this. I don't think we're going to have a direct confrontation, a dual 1v1 necessarily, because that doesn't really seem like, once again, a secret spy organization style. MI6 way doesn't usually do it this way, but yeah, so there's interesting things happening in this chapter. I won't deny that. It's a setup chapter. It's setting us up, and that doesn't mean it's bad. It's just that I'm not going Sanji love spect eyes over the chapter like some of the previous chapters were like, holy crap bounties, holy crap this, holy crap blowing up Savo's entire island and shit. Like, stuff like that was eye-popping. This was, alright, we're setting up. CP0 was on the move. We might get a confrontation with Rob Lucci again with the Straw Hats. We're learning more about Vegapunk. We learned about Jewelry Bonnie being Kuma's daughter. So we're learning some stuff, but nothing that's gonna boom, explode my brain over, right? So once again, that's the end of the chapter, though. That's the end of my review. So what did you guys think? Let me know down in the comment section down below, as always. And happily argue with me and say, no, you didn't understand, Griever. There was this, that, and the other thing that went on, and that is just so freaking cool. And I'll say, awesome. For you, for me, this was not disliked, not necessarily liked, just another One Piece chapter. Excited to see where these plot lines go. Who is Vegapunk really going to be? Are the Straw Hats going to meet back up? What are they going to tell Zoro and crew and stuff like that? Because it seems like they're going directly to Vegapunk while Luffy and Jinbei and all them are sort of infiltrating right now. And when will CP0 show up, right? So when are they scheduled to show up on the island? So there's a lot of moving parts, but I'm excited to see where they go. So that's the review. Like, comment, subscribe as always. And once again, if you're Canadian, enjoy your Thanksgiving weekend. Hope you guys have a good one. Drink responsibly as always, as I always do. And we'll see you beautiful people back here once again for one next piece of One Piece. Looking forward to it, guys. Know you are too. See you next time.